show actually the wind, and it goes around something. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
Oh, I've seen it. That's with the black rock.
Yes.
You're going around the mountain, if you will.
And that thing's bigger than any mountain supposedly on Earth.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I started with the maps. I had that Urbano Monte map. I'll bring it up here in a minute, Brian. But it's the one that had the ice wall as being not frozen. And I shared that. That was my biggest video ever. It was like 2 million views or something. This one. And as you can see, there's no ice around this. But come to find out, I later learned somebody interpreted what the words say on here. And these are color coded to the inside. So if it's pink land over here and you see the pink land in here, it's showing you out here what kind of animals are there. So it had like alligators and camels and all this stuff. And I noticed this one up here, the green one, is actually Australia. See how big that is?
Yeah.
It's this big. And it was before it was actually discovered by Westerners. So it was called Land of Brasilia. Austral was on there, so that means south. So that is actually Australia up there. So I learned all this stuff off this map. So I got 2 million views, and I was actually wrong, Dave.
Good. About what?
About that being the ice wall with no ice.
Right. All right. So one of the biggest global arguments is Australia is stretched out on your stupid, map, and versus the squished up map. Like, I think Australia is longer. I just think that nobody's able to measure it. Somebody was there's a stretch of train tracks that goes quite a distance. Excuse me. In Australia, and somebody was like doing some timing on it and whatever. And I think Australia is way longer than they're telling us, and people just think it's so easy to measure something. Like, how do you measure Australia?
Yeah, and if you look on this one, you can't see it from it's thin, it's rectangular.
Yeah.
It's not, and any old maps you look at, and including the Gleason's map, it's like that. So, but Gleason, that's the thing about Gleason. People get confused and say that that's equidistant projection and all this stuff. Well, Gleason, I've read some old articles from the actual back of the original map from 1893 had a key on the back that said at the bottom, you can take this in either consideration as a globe or a plane to take your choice. So he had to do that in order to get his patent. They wouldn't give him his patent if he called it a flat earth map. But if you look at the two keys on the map, which are the June solstice and the December solstice,
right?
They describe the sun moving in circular paths around us, spiraling in and out.
The sun
the sun moves. It doesn't say anything about the earth moving. It says, and when it gets back out here, thus completing the season. So it goes around here,
right?
It goes around the inside. That's when you have the constant light at the North Pole, which I'm sure you've shown before. I saw a lot of your videos, and
right.
But yeah, this was my first map that I bought, was the flat earth. But I got into the old world stuff. I've always loved history, but after I saw some Tartarian videos and stuff like that, so I got into that and really started researching. And I see a video. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I always hated history because the stuff they were teaching us was bullshit. It's like none of it made any sense. I'm like, this is so stupid. Why are we learning about this? And now...
I don't mean back then.
More.
I mean, in my adult life, I started life history. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You know, when I was a kid, I hated history because all the stuff they taught us is all lies, and I guess I sensed that. And I hated architecture because they didn't explain. It made no sense to me, right? They didn't really look into it. Now, it's like I can't walk by a building without just going, what the F and how?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, once you see this stuff, and I know it's beaten over and over again, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. So when... like me and my buddy Brown that did the podcast together, this was a while back, we went to the the courthouse in Shelbyville, Kentucky, which is like 20,000 people. It's a small, and the courthouse looked like straight out of Rome, straight out of Rome. And that would have been built for 5,000 people when it was built, supposedly. 5,000 people.
Yeah, you got to look at like all of the Capitol buildings, all of the post offices, the college campuses, they all have the same architecture worldwide. It's crazy. And, that's a coincidence, right? People loved, back then before power tools, building giant domes and whatnot, right?
Oh yeah, and you have all the sanitariums, insane asylums with these gargoyles. There's one in Louisville called Waverly. It's the most haunted one on Earth. I almost said planet. I still screw that up sometimes, Dave.
That's all right, I allow it.
But it's there's gargoyles everywhere, and this is for tuberculosis hospital. So why would they have all that detail for a bunch of crazy people? What do they care?
What do you think? How did they make those? How did the carvings in these things with angels and dragons and griffins and gargoyles?
I think laser.
You think laser? Now I've seen a 7 Club showed a laser cutting into a rock doing like an exact thing, and so some sort of laser technology.
That's what I think. Because have you ever heard of the Kailasha Temple?
Sounds familiar. I'm not sure which one it is.
It's in India, and it's not as one of the 7 wonders of the world, but this is a structure. At the height of it, it's like 115 feet, some of it, and it was dug completely out of the rock. The whole thing was in the side of a mountain. They removed all of that, and if you walk inside, they had to hollow all of that out, and there's no remnants of dust, sand, no remnants of where they got the rock. The rock came from like 200 miles away or something. It's insanity.
Yeah, I forget where this was, but I was watching this on a video. I just snagged this.
Amazing.
What the heck are they doing, right? Now, when you say built with lasers, I think that's what our minds can. That's as deep as our minds can go.
Yes.
I think there's other like if you brought a laser back to I can't even say back because the farther back you go, the more intelligent we were.
Exactly.
I always use the explanation in 1975. If I said, "Hey, you could be walking down the beach with a piece of glass in your hand and have a 4K video conversation with people all across the earth, with multiple people for free," you'd say that's crazy, right?
Yes.
And when technology gets to the point where you don't understand it, you can just call it magic. I kind of think, this is just me speaking, I say it all the time because people freak out when I say stuff, that these had an angelic assistance in the buildings.
Okay.
Right? Like angels were here and could build this stuff with angelic powers. Maybe.
That's something that you definitely can't argue with. You can't, because I believe in God, and I believe in angels and demons. I believe in all that stuff. So I can't. I know they had more powers than we do.
I said, God's like, okay, I'm going to build this place for these humans, right? And build incredible canyons and mountains and all this stuff, right? Build everything, and then I'm going to throw them in a cave and say, good luck finding fire. Hope you figure out how computer chips work, or did God build some serious infrastructure? Like this entire place was a living, working, energetic, living system.
You asked me to maybe let me read you something real quick.
Yeah.
This is out of, it's called The History of the United States. This is volume 1. There's 3 volumes set from 1898. It's by Julian Hawthorne. So that's Nathaniel Hawthorne's son, okay?
Okay.
Now, this is History of the United States. Volume 1 starts at 1492 and goes all the way to his current time, which would have been late 1800s. And this is on page 8, so it's immediate he gets into this. And he says, at first, it was taken for granted that the Indians, as the red men were ignorantly called, were the aboriginal denizens of this country. But the mounds, which had giant bones in them, if you've ever heard of the mound builders, ruined cities, pottery, and other remains since found in all parts of the land. So that's saying all over the United States there were ancient ruins, okay, concerning which the Indians could offer no information and which showed a state of civilization far in advance of theirs, were proof that a great people had existed here in the remote past, who had flourished and disappeared without leaving any trace whereby they could be accounted for or identified. Their enigma, compared with which the archaeological problems of the old world are an open book. We can form no conception of the conditions under which they lived, of their personal characteristics, of their language, habits, or religion. We cannot determine whether these forerunners of the Indians were one people in several stages of development or several peoples in simultaneous occupations of the land. We can establish no trustworthy connection between them and any Asiatic races, and yet we were reluctant to believe them isolated from the rest of mankind. If they had dwelt here from the beginning of their creation, why had they not progressed farther in civilization? And if they immigrated hither from another continent, why do their remains not indicate their source? By what agency did they perish and when? The more keenly we strive to penetrate their mystery, the more perplexing does it appear. The further we investigate them, the more alien from anything we are or have known do they seem. So that says it's a whole nother race, Dave. It's not the Aboriginals were a different race. They weren't Native American. They weren't Asiatic, which means Asian. They weren't Mongolian. They weren't Ethiopian or Caucasian. And that multiple history books say that pre-1900. So that's kind of stuff is what makes my hairs on my arm stand up, you know. Your volume went down.
No, it did go down. I mute myself. Sometimes I like to talk to myself. So, what was I saying? The different races that we have here, like who's to say who's from here and who's from the outer lands, you know? I mean, I think we're all from different places. And
yeah, it goes on to say that it's like some of those structures were considered to be of 1,000 years or older,
right,
when they found them. And there's no traces, but the mounds that even Abraham Lincoln talked about, the giants at Niagara, I don't know if you've ever heard that in his speech. He said the ancient race of extinct giants that looked at this same Niagara Falls as we did, so they're extinct. And he talked about it in the 1860s. So it was common knowledge.
There's like building underneath Niagara Falls. There's like doors and like structure. Like, who built that? What's it for? When was it built? Was Niagara Falls built? Did God build it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
There's pictures that they've dug out buildings, and there's the same amount of the building below the ground,
yeah,
as there is above it, and that's when you get into the mud floods. But I think that could simply have been the deluge. Could have caused that. That some of these structures were built out of stone that gets stronger with age, with time. So they could have been here for thousands of years.
Well, when you say the deluge, you're talking about like Noah's flood?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, that would be the mud flood. A Noah's flood is a mud flood. You know, if you have a flood that big, it's a mud flood, right? There's mud everywhere.
You also have ground liquefaction. That's a hard thing to say. That comes with massive earthquakes. Could have been something, but I think it was the flood.
It makes, I mean, how people deny there was a mud flood, at least in lots of parts of the world, you know, maybe not all of it at the same time, or maybe so, but we're finding more and more buildings underground. In India, they're finding crazy stuff, right? Everywhere. It's like, it's everywhere. And think of the construction sites that are happening, that they come across something and they're like, just quickly get rid of it. We don't want this to stop, you know, because of financial reasons, right? I mean, it probably happens more times than not.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. Like me and my buddy went to Frankfurt, took drone footage of the Capitol building. Excuse me. And we went downtown, and we both were like, right there. You look down, the windows are half right ground, and that's in Brazil. That's in Philippines, China. That's all over the earth.
I live in Connecticut. I was in my previous career, I was driving upstate Connecticut, and Connecticut's tiny, right? And there's places, I've lived here my whole life. There's huge sections of Connecticut that I don't even know exist, right? Because it's huge, even though it's tiny. And I saw this crazy looking church, and I pulled in the parking lot. I was like, yeah, I got a few minutes to kill. And I walk around. There was a moat around the church that went down like 5 stories, right? So there's 5 stories underground. And then at the bottom, I'm looking down there, there's windows that were 3/4 covered that are looking into the mud. And the building, and it had a dome and 2 towers and a dome. 2 towers and a dome. Everywhere I see 2 towers and a dome. Like what's going on here? There's some sort of technology that we're unaware of.
Those domes, most of them, were initially copper. So when we see them now, they've been plated. If they're original, they're blue now.
No, these are blue copper domes on this building.
Yeah.
I think I took drone footage of it. I think I have.
If it's blue, it was originally copper. It's like the
It's
Statue
copper.
of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was copper.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's why
the French gave us the Statue of Liberty. They sent it over as a gift, right? That's what I was. That's what I was.
That's a whole nother story when you get into Lucifer and all that
Oh,
stuff.
no kidding! And the Star Forts, like, there's what's the channel is it Star Fort Finder or something like that? There's a website called Star Fort Finder or something, and it's basically logging all the Star Forts. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Star Forts.
Well, they're everywhere.
I've
The Statue
seen
of
them.
Liberty. The Statue of Liberty's on a Star Fort.
Oh, really? I've
Yeah.
seen them in my books, in my Tartarian books, and they are absolutely wonders of the world when you look at them from up high. But I don't know
never
their
heard about that in
purpose.
school. How come? It's got to be some sort of energy. Well, it's to keep the enemy troops out. That's why they built these Star Forts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so. I get pissed off at all the schooling I went through and all the nonsense that I was indoctrinated with. It's just like I tell people. I've been telling people for years. Don't go to school. Don't send your kids to school. Right? Don't spend all that money to send them to learn nonsense. Right?
Yes.
That money, some of that money, and let them start a business or let them learn something. And I say, watch some. You can learn stuff on YouTube. And I always tell people, go to Crow 777. Are you a listener, Crow?
No.
CRROW777 Radio. He does a podcast on everything, just everything from health to old world to flat Earth to space to telescope work to becoming a free entity or freedom. I tell people, have your kids listen to 5 episodes of Crow a week. That's it, 2 hours a day. That's their school. And guess what? A bunch of people did it. And their kids are now. They used to be like not interested in anything, just being hoodlums. Now they're thinking. They have ideas. They're becoming entrepreneurs. It's like, and that doesn't happen in school. School just turns you into a corporate slave.
It does, and it's set up to not utilize any of the kids' individual talents.
Yeah.
If you have a kid that is talented as whatever it may be, you want to hone that skill. You want to teach that. You don't want a cookie cutter, one size fits all education.
Right.
There's a thing called micro schools, and they're popping up. I don't know how many of them, but they got 2 hours of study, 2 hours of class. They've got chickens, they've got hogs, they've got welding, and all the local welders split the time. They're like the tradesmen will donate their time, and they'll come and teach these kids these skills. And whatever the kid likes, they pursue that with their child.
That's why I highly recommend the Crow Show, because it really make kids I never knew that existed. They go down that path and they learn all sorts of stuff. School is when it used to be hey, there's a really super smart professor. The only way to get the information from him is travel to where he is and go to his lecture halls.
Yeah.
Now we have the internet. Okay, no one needs to go anywhere. Okay, I mean it's good to go places. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but you don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars sending your kids to be indoctrinated. On my app, I have a Tataria button, the Griffin button. It's got all sorts of stuff on here. For anybody that's new to this topic, I say start with Old World Order by Sean Hibbler. You've seen that, right? It's intro. You haven't seen it?
I've seen the Flat Earth history of what was it?
The Lost History of Flat Earth by
Yes, the six. I've seen that one.
Yeah, that one's there. There's a whole bunch in there. But this is just Sean Hibbler did a 90-minute documentary. It was produced by Stu Peters, and it's a great intro. You'll love it, but you're not.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
You're not gonna learn a whole lot of new stuff in there, but you're gonna love it because it's a great intro. And I'm also a big fan of My Lunch Break. And
Yeah, I like that dude.
you listen to Jake from I'm the Improbable Dreamer.
No?
He's
Yes. Dr. Regenerated on TikTok.
Yeah, that's him.
He's the one that got me into Tartaria. Him and the Bully Slayer.
There you go. So this stuff is amazing, and I just added Old World America. This guy does some great work. Old World America, you love his work. right?
Oh, I'm sure.
You probably
I got the app. I just need to check it out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But one thing I wanted to show you and I've been showing this on every podcast because we're talking about old world and stuff, and then dragons come up, right? Right? I believe they created dinosaurs to hide dragons and giant people, because you find these bones, they're like, oh, that was a giant. That wasn't a giant person. That's a dinosaur. But if you just type in dragons here, and this is a 1946 dictionary. Have you seen this? It says dragon, winged serpent, now rare. Now rare.
I want that book. I'm that guy. I want that. Where you're reading that from?
Yeah. Now
that almost looks like a griffin. That's Tartarian
damn right.
flag. I mean, it's very similar, but it's lion body with the dragon head.
Yeah.
And
so,
it looks like that.
Again, now rare. And then you look at the zodiac, Chinese zodiac. They have 13, 12 real animals and one fake one. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Did you ever hear about the 13th zodiac sign?
Yes.
There's actually 13 of them, and they eliminated. I think it's between Scorpio and Sagittarius. I forget the name of it, but it was so faint that they decided to pull it out. But it actually completes your 13 moons. I'm sure you've heard all of
13
that.
months, 28 days.
The women's
at the year, right?
Yeah, the women's cycle. That
Right.
all goes in line. The turtle's back. It's all in line. And for some reason, they don't like us knowing stuff, Dave. They don't like us being in touch with them.
They want a world of workers, not thinkers. That's what when Rockefeller took over the education or indoctrination system in 1901 or 2 or whatever it was. And in Henry Kissinger's book, it's got an old world on it. It says Tartaria. It's hard to see right there. On the cover of his book, it's got Tartaria, and there's people that argue that Tartaria never existed.
No, I've got a globe. It was from the 1490s, but
Yeah.
it was a replica. But it's old. I mean, it's probably 80 years old. But it's Tartaria was, you have Russia. Let me see. I'm gonna try to do that. Russia, and then most of the Soviet Union.
It's in
What used to be
Tartaria.
this was all Tartaria, and then you have all the way over to China. It was that much of the globe. Or
Did you see my lunch break? I mean, 20, 30, or 40 issues ago, he found a place like near Uzbekistan called like it sounds like Tataria, but it was a little slightly different pronunciation. And then he went in on Google Earth. It's crazy old world stuff, and there's griffin statues everywhere, and
Yeah,
it's still active. People still live there.
I'm not going to try to find it, but this is my oldest book. It's from 1839, and it's by John Delafield, an inquiry into the origins of the antiquities of America. Well, if America was virgin, there should be no antiquities. But anywho,
Yeah,
he tells you all about the Tartarians in this book. There were Siberian Tartars, there were Mongolian Tartars, there were Chinese Tartars, and then he says in this book that the Native Americans came over from Mongolia. That's where they have the Asiatic race.
right.
They're not native to here. So he talks all about it. It was well known. The Tartars defeated China in 1602. You could look that up. So people saying it's not true, just do zero research.
So when was that book written?
1839. That was,
So
and it's original. That's
When
an
do
original.
you think the what do we call it? The reset, the mud flood? What do we call it? There was a reset of some sort, right? Man-made,
I think the
made,
reset was in the 1800s.
and before or after that book? That book was like they're talking about the antiquities that they can't explain. Is that what that book is about?
Yes. I would say it was before this happened. These were the people. I don't know if you heard of the orphan trains and all that stuff.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, repopulation of, and I'm thinking we could be currently in another one, and that's where you have all. I don't know if I'm allowed to say certain things on here, but all the missing children, 300,000 missing children right now from the last how many years, could be a repopulation. I know that sounds wacky.
I never even thought of it that way. I figured they're just eating them. So.
I mean, yes. I mean, Dave, and doing other things that I would not say.
Or helping McDonald's out. We won't say anything more than that.
Yeah, but the orphan trains, where did all they come from? Where did all those kids come from? And then you say, where do all the insane people come from? Because there were all these huge, insane asylums. Well, maybe, just maybe, those were the people that went against the grain.
Yeah, people that knew too much, and they're like, "Oh, you're crazy," and they stuck them in there.
And it only takes 2 generations to erase history. 2 generations.
It takes 2 days today. People forget about things. On the bottom row on the Tataria page, I've got a list of videos about the Cabbage Patch Kids. Have you looked into that?
I've seen it, but it was also in line with the incubator things at the World's Fair. You had that, which is weird. It's like
it's in this list.
Were they cloning?
I don't know. And like the first movie ever made was like this husband and wife walking through a cabbage patch, pulling live babies out and holding them like they've never seen a baby before. And it's like if you made a film like that today, you'd be like sued or you'd be arrested.
Yeah.
It's like what the heck is going on? But I'm not saying that kids grow in cabbage patches, but there's something that we don't understand. It's bizarre, right?
And then they made a whole thing about it. The Cabbage Patch dolls and all that. They like to shove it in your face.
I think it's in Kentucky. There's a Cabbage Patch hospital that you can go to, and they do live Cabbage Patch doll births.
Oh, that's eerie. I don't want to see it.
It's so creepy. I think the video's in that list in the Tataria section.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know what? Flat Earthers and Old Worlders, we do know how to say I don't know. Globers don't.
That is the thing.
They think they know everything.
Once you say I don't know, Dave,
yeah,
they think they got you.
Yeah.
But some things we're not supposed to know, like what's beyond the firmament. Yeah. We're never going to know that, guys. A picture of the Earth. Show us a picture of the whole Earth. You can't.
Well, I say, you try to explain this to Globers this way when they say, hey, where's your picture of the Earth? I'm like, first, your picture of the globe doesn't work. I go, but picture of the flat Earth? I go, imagine you have a Home Depot and then you expand it to 30 miles long. So you have a Home Depot that's 30 miles long, right? 30 miles long with 30 miles wide. Where in that Home Depot can you go to take a picture of the entire thing? You can't. You can only get up so high. You can only see so far. That's it.
And that building you got right there?
Yeah.
That is weird looking. Okay, there's no way that's all that structure.
Oh no, there's way more below. It's
way more.
It's completely mud flooded, but it's hard to see in this picture. They're like horse and buggies, as Kenny from my lunch break would say. Donkeys Incorporated went there with their chisels and they built it.
What these books talk about too, about going out these old ancient cities. When you have those pictures from the 1800s, it's like 1820s, 30s when the cameras first came out, and you see these pictures, they're of cities, and there's no people.
No people.
That's west. That's out west. That was the last place we went.
Yeah.
So when they got out there, the first picture, and these are panoramic. It's high noon. You can see like a lamppost that shows you it's high noon. And there's nobody.
Right.
And it should be like 250,000 people is how big that city is.
Right. Dirt roads, no people, giant buildings, before power tools.
There's some of them you can see that the windows are busted out of them when they took the picture, and they're supposed to be kind of new, The windows are busted out.
The argument that you'll get, this is the latest Glober denial argument, is, well, the reason they were able to build these things in 1 or 2 years, without power tools is because they didn't have TikTok to distract them.
Oh God!
Isn't it?
They had to farm and hunt and spend all their days trying to survive. So when did they have time to do that?
Look how small these people are. Dirt roads, donkeys, no people, just 2 people. And what is this giant building? Who built that? What is it for?
It's a post office, Dave.
It's a post office now, right? And in a city like this, how these people are on horse and buggies.
And they look so out of place. They always look out of place. They'll be on the beach in suits and stuff. It's just totally out of place.
Like they came from underground, maybe? I don't know.
It's almost like a movie set. Is what? That's got to be Aztec there. That's
awesome. But what underground? There's more bricks. Is this entire world made from bricks? Did God create the world from bricks?
There was what's his name? I forget his name, but he does the Tartarian books. It's the Moors and the Tartarians. He does all that, but he shows that Tartaria, most of Tartaria, that we call, I don't think it's all credited to the same people, but it's under your feet. There's cities on top of cities on top of cities.
Right.
What is this structure? This is badass.
I forget where that one was, but it's just like, who's building this stuff on the top of a hill before power tools, before motors, before cranes?
And like Teotihuacan in Argentina, I think, or Peru, that's on the top of a mountain, dude. How did he get it? The stuff that's down there, it's like, how'd they do that?
You ever see this
a
one?
lot of it's.
I believe this is San Francisco
Yes.
Fair, right? In 1915 is when they built it, but those buildings were there in 1878. So they whitewashed it, they cleaned it up, they said, oh, this is brand new. And, if you had a problem with that, you go to the insane asylum.
Yeah, that's what I gather from it, because, I mean, where did they all come from? What did they have to be insane over? You also had the whited out skies where you had, like, the airships and all that stuff. They didn't want you to see how much those airships were around back then. Those things were luxurious, man.
Yeah. Not the Improbable Dreamer. He's been showing some great ones. Like, people are like, why would you want to go across the ocean in one of those? Why would you want to go on a cruise ship? You got a better view up here, and it's half the time. Okay.
They could have went to Antarctica past the ice wall with those. Who
I
knows?
think that's why they did the whole psyop with Hindenburg, and then so you can't use hydrogen anymore, and NASA controls all the helium. They don't want people having the ability to build this thing. They're like, you know what? I'm going to take my fan and my solar panel and my airship and go across Antarctica. Can't do that, right? Can't do that.
So you believe in the lands beyond the ice wall?
Well, I can't prove it, but there's so many stories and there's so much evidence that there is more land out there. There's a book called the Iron Republic.
Oh, I've read it.
Yeah. And
that's where this came from.
No, that's where Navigator Across the Ice Wall came from.
And his idea came from the Iron Republic, though, because her name, it is the same names that are in it.
Yeah.
In the original, and that was in the 1890s.
Right. So whether it's true or not, they're talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1890s. And the fact that you can't find a single copy of Florida Magazine where the articles that make up the Iron Republic were published, you can't find a single hard copy. There's 3 or 4 issues that are on PDF, but there are no hard copies.
And that was a monthly publication for a while, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, and then when he came back, and he landed in like Tampa. He left New York, I think. He came back in Tampa.
Yep.
When he got back and he contacted the Florida, whatever, the paper, he said, "Come down to the marina. I've got the proof on my ship to prove it." So there was cameras back then. The 1890s, they already had cameras, and they didn't go. They said they still based this as fiction because they didn't go to see his proof.
Yeah, I know.
But he had it on his boat, so he could have had pictures. He could have had who knows what he had.
So much. There's so much evidence out there. So that's my belief, and it makes sense. And did you read The Navigator Across the Ice Wall, which is showing what you're showing over there?
Yes, I read 3 of them, and then this to me, it's just a concept.
I like the concept, but
I love it.
Each one of those ponds occupies a piece of the plane or a planet.
Yeah, which is
a piece of the plane. So if you want to believe in extraterrestrials, it works on a flat Earth. It doesn't work in heliocentric space that's expanding into nothing, right? The closest star is 25 trillion miles away. It's ridiculous. All right.
Even the term extraterrestrial says
extraterra, right?
Yeah, or more people, or more land. It's either way you interpret it. Outer space. I've always said it's. You want to see outer space?
Outer space, right? That's why all the big telescopes are in the south, looking out, right? Looking out.
Absolutely.
And I'm just showing some star forts here that are
they're amazing, dude.
Mind-blowing stuff. So
what is their purpose? Do you have any idea of the energy? Something energy?
it's gotta be. I think it's everything is energy based. You know, I think that people were energy beings. I think this was some sort of etheric power grid, and I don't even think people ate food back then.
Well, they didn't have bathrooms in any of those buildings.
Yeah.
And their fireplaces were not made for firewood. It was used from the ether.
Right. And I think they were using radon, right? And guess what? You know, there's radon engines. Think about this. So if you had a radon engine on an airship, do you know what the exhaust of a radon engine is?
No, I do not.
Helium.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in New York City, they found I wish I might have it. They found an old elevator. They were needing to repair it in an old Tartarian building, an old world building. And when they opened up the elevator, there was a mercury, like, radon engine in it, still operating on its own power.
Wow.
Running the elevator in this old building.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said? They found remnants in the bottom of the pyramids were like pools, would have been pools of mercury?
Maybe.
There was something I saw, some documentary I was watching that was talking about that. I think if you look back to the Bible, I'm sure you've read good portions of it, if not all the Bible. But those people, 600, 700, 800, 900 years they lived. You know, so you got to wonder if the energy things that we are all lacking now, rubber shoes, lead paint is gone. You know, all these things. It's just not.
I miss lead paint.
Being out in the sun.
Yeah.
You know, these people live like eating real food.
Yeah.
These people could have lived a lot longer than us.
You know what they called organic food back then?
No.
Food.
Yeah. 90% of what's in the grocery store didn't exist.
I kind of miss lead paint. It tasted so good.
You were one of those kids, weren't you?
Nobody ate lead paint. Stop it. It's just it's just a stupid story. Right?
Isn't that crazy how they make this crap up and people actually believe it?
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure most of this stuff out. That, you know, like the moon landings and stuff, you don't have to. The people that still believe that, I actually feel sorry for them.
Okay.
You know, I do.
Somebody asked me at the end of a podcast I just did. They said at the end, "Do you believe in the moon landings?" I was like, "If you asked me that at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have interviewed you. That's usually my list at the end. Like, if you believe in landing, I don't think I can help you because you don't have any critical thinking skills." But I say that kind of jest because some people just haven't looked. You know, like. Here's the thing. I became a flat earther before I knew the moon landing was fake. Isn't that weird?
What turned you? I was going to ask you that. What was the first thing that made you?
So first I refused to look. And then when I was forced to look by my friend Sophia Smallstorm, I went to debunk it. And I started watching videos for 2 weeks. I didn't sleep. And I'm like watching these videos. We can see too far and making a lot of sense. High pressure, no pressure. Water needs containment. You know, and learn about perspective. And I said, okay, I've lived in the same town my whole life, ships over the horizon. I was like, okay. And I kind of just come out with the P900. And so I went out, spent $1,000 on a P900 and a good tripod, and I went down to the beach. I had a perfect, clear, cold, calm day. Literally, it's probably the best day ever, right? And I put that sucker down, and there was a buoy that was just over 10 miles away. I could see the buoy and the water beyond the buoy. Okay?
Wow.
And people say, well, that doesn't matter. You know, you're just a micron flea on a basketball. You would look flat. And according to Globe Math, there should have been 60 plus feet of curvature. 60 feet of physical curvature. I could see the water beyond it. And I'm just like, okay, the curvature formula is wrong. That's what I said. I'm like, the curvature formula is wrong. And so then I went to, I think it was Mick West debunking site or one of the debunking sites. I said, what do they say? And they say, oh, no, it's not, you know, drop like this. It's you're here and the object's here. So you have to split the drop. It's not like that much drop. It's half the drop. Okay? That's retarded. But I'll give it to them. There should only be 30 feet of curvature. This buoy was not 30 feet high.
Yeah.
Right? So either way, here's the thing. The beautiful thing about flat Earth is when you're doing the measurements, you give the globe a handicap. You can go. It's like playing golf with a glober. You can give them double your points handicap. You'll still win. Okay? Because the globe is just complete and total nonsense.
Yeah, the horizon's at 3 miles. So if you're beyond that,
3 miles is 6 feet, right? But if you're sitting down, it's like under 2 miles.
yeah.
Right? So if you're sitting down at the beach and watching the sunset on the West Coast, it's setting it's touching the water less than 2 miles away, and that's where the intersection of your ball and it's going behind, right? No, it's way out there. It's way farther. It's way farther. But I show this on every podcast. This frozen lake, right? Large bodies of water at rest, lie flat, freeze flat, 6 inches off the ground. We got these 4 lights out here, 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles. At that height, they should be over 30 feet, 22, 15, and 9 feet below the curve. So you have to believe, on a flat Earth, you can see all the lights. They're just down the ice, boom, 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 right? But on a globe Earth, this one's refracting up. This one's refracting up higher. This one's refracting up 22 feet. This one's refracting up 30 feet or whatever it is. And they all stop right at the tangent to your horizon. They all refract up and stop right there. Okay?
Yeah.
That's so stupid. If you think that's happening, you're not thinking. You're brainwashed, you're lost, and you're indoctrinated so deep it's embarrassing.
My favorite thing, I'm going to bring up the second favorite thing that I've seen you do, but my favorite thing was the Flat Earth Kitchen. I thought that was hilarious. That was awesome.
That's my favorite.
But my second favorite, it wasn't too long ago that I saw it. I'm not sure when you recorded it, but it's when you showed that time progressed video of going across the Earth. It looked like it was at night, and then you showed what you should see with the curve
airplane,
and the different stars rising.
Yeah, and so that one you can't argue it. You can't say refraction because it's not refraction, right? So let me find it. It's where is it? Traveling. Is that it? No, that's not it. You have to believe
that's funny.
You have to believe that's funny. All right.
But yeah, that was one of my favorites, man. It really shows you, but here's a question though. If we're going towards the star and it's fixed, let's say, now, shouldn't it kind of rise? Even on a flat Earth?
On a flat Earth, stars up here should rise because you're underneath it and you're going to go and it's going to go beyond you. But one's way in the distance. They're way in the distance. They're far enough away where you're not going to meet them, right? But on a globe, all the stars should be moving at the same speed. They should all be going up and over, right? On a globe, all of these stars should be doing this. All these stars are all moving up. This is what Google Earth tells us. Google Earth came out in 2001, and it was flat. And it wasn't until 2008 that the curvature. They added the curvature in 2008 to make it more realistic. More realistic to what? To your indoctrination? So this is reality, right? Just moving as they turn. These stars are not going up. And in globe reality, all the stars, when you're diving over, there's no parallax, there's no...
It should be rising up.
They should all be going at the same speed up and over you, right? They should all be going up and over. As you're diving down, they're all coming up and over. But this is what we see. There's no arguing this.
No, there's not. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because that was one of the proofs I saw that really blew me away. And there was a pilot. He's probably in his 60s. And it was a long video. He talked all about it. But he said when he learned that the Earth was flat, he was in training, and some of the guys, they were all arguing about it in the training. And he's like, what are they talking about? He said, well, we're going up tomorrow, this and that. But when they went up the next day, they asked him in particular, because he was one of the biggest skeptics. They said, you want to come up in the cockpit for a little bit? He's like, sure. He goes up there. And now, mind you, this is 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night in Hawaii, coming up on Hawaii. And he said, the pilot said, get ready. When we get up to 47,000 feet, guess what you're going to see again? The sun. And they got up there and he saw the sun again, and it was right there, you know? And he said it went from here all the way around to daylight when it got to in Honolulu.
That's why they don't let you go up that high normally.
Yep.
They don't
But
go
he
up
said
that high.
at that level, you can see it again.
So watch this. We got a little camera and we're diving over a globe, and all of if these are stars, you got Professor Dave there, they're all rising up at the same rate. They're all rising up as you dive over. So now those are over the plane's head, right? So the plane literally just went around like that. You see the laser? The laser is showing that it's where it's looking. So all of those are rising up. If that plane's going over, they're all rising up.
Absolutely.
From their perspective. That doesn't happen. It needs to happen on a globe, but it doesn't happen.
And the thing Eddie Bravo said made a lot of sense too. Is like every quarter of the year, you should be looking at a different wall. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like it's a totally different stars. I know the stars move, but you should be looking at completely different stars when you're nighttime on that side and completely different when you're nighttime on this side. It should not be the same stars doing perfect circles as we spin, go around the sun and hurl through the galaxy. All those movements would make a jumbled mess above your head, you know?
100%. It makes no sense. So we're here, right? Here's the sun. Here's the sun, and here is the Earth. And you're over here. You're looking into the darkness. The nighttime is over there. So I'm looking over there at that wall, and that's my nighttime wall, right? Where my finger is. 6 months later, I'm over here. Nighttime is over here. And I look over there and I see the same stars.
Yeah, that's insanity. It's insanity. I mean, there's one of two scenarios, and I say this, and people look at me with the four-eyed stare. You know, I'm like, look, there's one of two things happening. Either we're moving and the stars are not, or the stars are moving and we're not. That's the only scenario where you get perfect circles. Only scenario.
We're only moving in one direction, though.
In one direction, yes.
Yeah.
One direction. So once you add in the heliocentric model, it totally debunks itself just with looking at the sky. And people don't want to see it, Dave. They just don't, you know.
When people say, Dave, what's the best flat earth proof? I say every single one of them, if you think about it. I mean, every single proof is a killer, is a globe killer. I mean, looking at stars at light years away, it's impossible. That's impossible, right? Light spreads out and gets weaker over distance, okay? It's called the inverse square law, right? Let me go watch here. If I go here, if I type in inverse, there's a new image on here, which I have a test version of the app. I can't see it. But basically, the light just gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, right? So you have a dimming problem, and then you also have an angular size problem, right? If our sun at 93 million miles away, it looks like the size of a coin held at arm's length, right? If I brought the sun a mile over your head, it would just fill the entire sky, right? The sun's a yoga ball, you're a BB, and you're a millimeter below that sun. You look up, you're just going to see the friggin' ball, right? 93 million miles away, it's the size of a coin at arm's length. What happens if we double that distance? It's the size of an eraser, maybe, on a pencil. Yeah. Double that distance, it's the size of a small star. Double that distance, it's like a star, right? So that's a light hour. So that's 8 times the distance. What if it was 2 hours away, 4 hours away, 8 hours away, 16 hours away? You could not see it. Round it up to a light day away. You could not see it. Polaris is 46 times bigger than our sun. So if you made it 46 light days away, you couldn't see it. Period. Ignoring the brightness issue, right? Polaris to be like 1,000 times brighter than our sun for us to see it at 46 light days away. But
they couldn't have these hot spots either.
They tell us it's 433 light years away.
That's
right?
insane.
Your mind does short circuits, and you can't figure anything else. You can't see anything. People they just give up their authority. They're like, oh, you know, I don't have a degree, right? What is a degree? A degree is your ability to memorize and regurgitate BS. Hot spot, that's what you're saying. Hot spot, dark.
You're saying it should be more. It should be wider. This is right above the.
Is that 93 million miles away, or is it right there above the Earth? Right there. It's farther from here. It's closer to there.
And it's a lot smaller than the Earth. A lot smaller than the Earth.
No, you can fit 40,000 Earths inside that sun. What's wrong with you?
Ridiculous. And
right?
you look
Helium
at
and hydrogen that have collapsed in a space vacuum and have gravity that can hold onto Pluto and it knows to pull on our moon. Okay? This is the they call us stupid. It's amazing. The Dunning-Kruger, is it Dunning-Kruger or just idiocy?
Yeah.
These the people that there's people that are ignorant, that just have never looked and are indoctrinated and are afraid to look. There's people that have looked and can't see because they're just lost in the sauce. There's people that maybe are paid or possessed, same thing, to hide the truth. And then there's people like us that for some reason we can see.
Yeah, like that sun you're looking at, the image, because that's what it is, that we were always shown is that orange with the solar flare. It never happens. Ask David Shane if he's ever seen one of them solar flares that they show us that causes an EMP to keep us scared all the time that we could lose our power. It's all fear mongering.
Right? False evidence appearing real. And that's they can't control us unless they can keep us in fear. That's why they steer our minds with the news, north, east, west, south, news, NEWS. And they keep us in fear with false evidence appearing real. And that's how they control us. We're living on their ball, playing by their ball field rules, and believing their nonsense, their complete and total BS. BS.
Yeah, I love the television programming.
Television programming, right?
Programming all these words that tell you what government that's control the mind. I mean, it's all right in front of you.
Have you seen this? If we're spinning, you see the sun, it would just be setting, it would just be going down, and it would always go at the same pace and it would set, right? But that's not what the sun does. Now, we may see it set because of our optical horizon, which is never at our eye level. It's always thousands and thousands and thousands of feet above our eye level, but it looks like it's at eye level. But I got a drone up here, super clear day, super cold, no humidity, and the sun went down, 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 and then it stopped right here. It stopped right there, and it sat there for 10 minutes. My friends were at the beach over here, about 5 miles away. They saw the sun set 10 minutes ago from the bottom up. You know why? Because the sun is going away. The atmospheric deck, which appears at their eye level, the sun just went away. And they think this is Earth curve, but it's really an atmospheric deck that's 10,000 feet above their eye level. The sun just goes beyond it. So I'm going to turn this on. This is super sped up. I don't care that it's fuzzy. That doesn't matter. It stopped going down. It stopped for 10 minutes. And then the sun's getting farther and farther away, and the sun's having a harder and harder time pushing through all of that atmosphere. The light gets attenuated into the atmosphere, and at some point, it just can't push any farther. And it disappears.
Oh, wow. That was neat. Why did it stop, though? Do you have any explanation for that?
Yes, because when you look, let's say you're down at the beach, whatever, and you see your horizon to the left, you see your horizon to the right, that horizon is not Earth curve. That horizon could be land in the distance, it could be the cloud deck, it could just be the atmosphere all compressing into what appears to be your horizon. So your horizon's really up here. And as things go beyond, it sets beyond. The horizon's up here and it just sets beyond. Right? It's hard to do that from the camera.
No, that's the flat Earth kitchen.
But yeah, but it's exactly what it's doing. So your horizon is No, I've been showing this a lot, but I got to show it again because this is one of the things that even flat earthers need to wrap their mind around. So check this out. So here
Dude,
is
that's an amazing video. That's amazing. I'm sorry, dude.
which one? The kitchen? Oh, that
No.
there. So look, this is we're in New York City. We're looking straight up. We got a 50-story building, and the sun goes to 1 o'clock. Now the question is the sun below the horizon, or is it just beyond the building?
Beyond the building, of course.
Absolutely. So here is a perspective grid, right? And we have a guy standing here. Here's his eye line. Throw a mountain up here. Let's say this is 3,000 feet above his eyes, and the sun's up there. The sun's going away. Is it below the horizon, or is it beyond the mountain?
It's obviously the sun's beyond the mountain.
Beyond the mountain. So if he went backwards, he'd have a better angle. Let's make him go backwards, maybe 25 miles. You can see the sun again. Now this mountain, flat or globe, is still 3,000 feet above his eye level, right? But it looks like it's at his eye level. From 30 miles away, 3,000 feet looks like it's at your eye level.
Yeah, people can see this on a bridge. You can see this
everywhere. Okay,
yeah, it's ridiculous
but they think this is Earth curve. This is the top of the mountain, right? That is above his eye level, and the sun just goes beyond it. Now add the atmosphere in here. So we got the cloud deck and we have the atmosphere. If there were no clouds, the atmosphere becomes opaque. You're in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, crystal clear water. You can't see the wall on the other side.
Right.
Right? The atmosphere is the same. So the sun is going away beyond this line. What is this line? This line's not only 3,000 feet above his eyes. This is 10,000 feet of atmosphere being compressed into that line. So it's above 13,000 feet of atmosphere. So that line, that horizontal eye zone, is 13,000 feet above his eyes minimum. And the sun just went beyond it. And as you saw in the sun fade out, it took its light with it. That's it.
That's what I've never seen. I've never seen it. Because that shows you that the atmosphere is what causes. That happened before the sun had a chance to appear to go beyond the horizon.
Right, because it was so clear. Now, if it was the thicker, more humidity in the atmosphere or any clouds, it would have gone beyond those clouds. The clouds would have taken it out, bottom up, much sooner. But it got to the point where the atmosphere wasn't becoming a solid line of opaqueness, and it's above it. It was in the clearest air, and because of my angle to it, it just went away, and it took it out. On the app, and you can look at this. So on the app, if you go to the web button, by the way, if you long press any button, like I'll long press the web button, it tells you what it does. So if you're trying to figure out what the buttons do, just long press a button. If you go to that page and scroll to the bottom, there's 7 or 8 or 9 sun fade out videos, different videos. I even live streamed it. I was accused, you're Photoshop, right? I live streamed it. And there's other people that have filmed it also now, just like Crow with his lunar wave. You know, now that people know how to look for these things, you can see it and understand it. So.
Yeah, they Photoshop stuff. We don't have. Why would I do that? Why would I didn't want the Earth to be flat.
Right,
I didn't I set out to disprove it. You know?
The Globers will fake stuff. They'll try to catch us in traps. They'll lie about. We don't do that. We don't ever do that, right? You know, they make fake videos. You know, like, oh look, this is from Mars. You know, let's trick Flat Earth Dave. You know, and it actually just backfires upon them. This is, let me get rid of that sun fade out. This is the coin on the table, setting from the bottom up. So this is your horizon. But guess what? Now, flat earthers will say, oh, no, the camera's not below the table because when they zoom in, they can see the whole coin again. But that's because they're taking the iris and making it bigger, and then it's above the table, right? So like this. Can't do it. All right, the iris is small, but when you make it bigger, all of a sudden you can see over the table. So I don't argue. It is below the camera is below the table. Just like this is 10,000 feet above your eye level, but you think it's Earth curve. That's exactly what's going on.
And when you zoom in on the sun, I've seen that. I don't remember if it was you or not, but It looked like it was going over the horizon. When you zoom in, it goes right back up.
That's again. There's all different types of sunsets. For example, here's one you're talking about. I actually took this one. So I zoom in, and the sun is up in the air.
Yeah.
Now these trees here, these trees are 200 feet. They're up on land. These trees are 200 feet above my eye level. But just from here, it looks like Earth curve.
Yeah.
So the sun's just going to go, just like the coin did, it's going to go beyond those trees. Amazing,
And
right?
these are the proofs that if you have an open mind, it forces you to see it. If this doesn't show you,
Right,
there's nothing you can do to people. They just
Right.
they refuse to see it.
right. And then if I'm just going to put my hand here for a second. Hold on. And so you're looking out here, and you're looking across Lake Michigan, and Chicago should be there, but you can't see it. And those are clouds in the sky, but you can't see Chicago because the tops of the buildings should be over the curve. However, on this day, the sun backlit Chicago, and there it is. Right? There it is. Because it's backlighting it. It went beyond it.
But refraction.
But this is you can't see anything unless the sun is blocking it, right? There's no Chicago there, there's Chicago. There it is, right there. These should be below the curve. The tops should be below the curve.
Yeah, that's 60 miles or something.
50? 50? Yeah, I think it's 50. But either way, it's good. Never round up, always round down for the Glovers, right?
Oh yeah.
You these clouds look like they're touching the ground. You know they're not touching the ground.
Yeah, and the sun's not in the clouds either.
The sun's not. Yeah. Well, I think we see the sun in a virtual, like, if you see the sun in the clouds, it might be, but if somebody was over near those clouds, they would see the sun in a different position. It's very optical how we see the sun. I think it's definitely in an apparent position. And this is from Phuket Word. You ever see this? So first, you've seen this. So the Pontchartrain Bridge, this shows you this. Look at these rails are doing, right? But he goes into nothingness, right? Let me just speed this up a little bit. He goes and he becomes like nothing. Like he's there. He's just disappearing, right? And then if we compare that to a sun, the sun does the same thing. It just fades. It kind of goes into that thing. And then you see how much above this apparent horizon that was? So here's the sun, the last minute of the sun fading out. And here's the bike rider just going into this mirage, if you will.
Yeah, and those lamps are the same height too, and one looks below the other one,
right. So this is how you see the sun disappear. Look, the horizon's down here, but the sun's disappearing up here, and the bike rider's doing the same thing. He's just disappearing into the optics of the miraged horizon.
That's these things become common sense once you see it once, and you look at it with an open set of eyes. This stuff, it should convince you. When they say, "Where's the proof?" Show us a picture of your flat Earth. Every picture is a picture of flat Earth.
Right? Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Is that time, let's going forward and backwards here. When it's going away, is the cameraman falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, or is that light just moving away?
Yeah.
On a ball, you have to see that the cameraman's there and he's falling over backwards with the Earth, and that's why the sun's appearing to go down. Or is the sun just move across the sky as we see it?
As we've always seen it. Same size as the moon, similar size. It's all what we see is I know our eyes do play tricks on us, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But that is not miraculously 400 times bigger and 400 times further away to make it happen, you know?
This is a terrestrial point of view, and this is a celestial point of view, right? It goes straight celestial, but it goes below this mountaintop, which appears to be at eye level from a terrestrial point of view. And
that was your kitchen, wasn't it?
That was my kitchen, right? So here's the sun just going over across the string, and here it is dropping below. It looks like it's going below that, but it's not. And that's what the sun is doing.
Yeah, that was a great experiment because it shows you it's exactly the same. There should be no question anymore. I mean, if you're ignorant and then we show you and you still don't see it, that's when I have a problem. Not that you're ignorant.
Right.
But once you get shown this, and I was a science guy, huge science guy, loved it. You know, all of what was his name? They did the Cosmos books, Carl Sagan, you know, Stephen Hawkins, all
Carl
that stuff.
Sagan's talking about being bamboozled, and he's the one bamboozling us.
Exactly.
Amazing. So amazing. This is my kitchen. You got the sun. It's above this. It never goes. It's level. And now from a terrestrial camera, this is a celestial camera. This line is the same level line. It never goes below this little mountain. But from this point of view, it's going beyond the mountain. But this, in the distance, looks like it's horizon, right? This is a level line. This line is level. This thing is above this. It's above it. This line is level. That line is level, right? This sun is just going away. And what's it going behind right here? Right there. It's going.
That's gotta be a mountain or something.
No, that's the atmospheric deck.
The atmosphere?
The atmospheric deck. Okay? And it's just going beyond it. And if I zoomed out, this space between here and the water would all just crunch together. And you wouldn't even see it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even see it.
How long ago was this? When did you do that experiment?
5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It just came to me. I just set it up and it worked. First try, one shot.
How long have you been on this path?
2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 3 years, 2.5 years.
It's even after this amount of time, you still learn new stuff every single day. It's kind of mind blowing.
It is, man, and I appreciate you bringing me on, and all the stuff I've learned from you over time, man. It's really got me on the right path with this.
Can you email me a half a dozen, as many as you want, good map images?
Sure.
All right, then I'm going to add them to the app so people can show them, pull them up real easy.
Absolutely.
If you could send me like your favorite maps, I've got the basic ones. You've seen the ones I have. You know what? Let me show you what I have. And then if we could add a few more on there, that'd be awesome. So if I go on here and I touch the images, I just type in maps. You can see these are the maps I have. Right? I got the Dos Confunda map, moon map. I got this puppy.
Yeah. You got Urbano Monte right there too.
I do right there.
Yeah.
Yep. If you have any other ones that I'm missing,
the one I have that you're missing is the Mercator North Pole map. I have that one.
Yep, that's one I need.
I have that one, and I don't know if I have any more.
All right, that one is one I've been meaning.
Because you have the other three that I have.
Okay.
But this one,
right,
is one that you don't have. So
okay.
I can send you that. And I'll look into some other maps because I can send you snapshots of them.
And anybody that
I just don't own them.
Anybody that has an image that you can't find on the app that you think would be really helpful to have on the app, send it my way. It'd be amazing. Because we'll just add it on the map, and together I can't do this all alone. I've been doing it all alone, but it's a lot of people help. Send me stuff. I can add it to the app instantly, and then everyone has it instantly. Right? We're using their technology against them. And a quick little Christmas gift on the app and the shopping. This will pop up if you haven't cleared it already. In the shopping cart, we got these metal cutout compasses, right? Have you seen these? This is our
No, I haven't seen it.
This is south compass with north in the center, east and west are circles, and then you got the map. They're cut out of thick metal. They come in all different colors, and they're extremely affordable. They come from a 1 foot to 3 feet, and the giant ones are amazing. They're amazing. Here, let me.
The compass only works on flat Earth.
Yeah. If I go like this, let me see if I go. I think I can. This. There's one. There's the one on my. Oops. Why isn't that working?
Oh, I want one of them.
It goes like. Yeah, I go like this. There you go. I go, this is what I have on my wall. Pretty cool.
That is cool as shit. Yeah, I definitely want one of them.
Yeah, they're really great Christmas gifts. Gift for yourself, gift for your family, whatever. And they're extremely affordable.
I just shared a video, Dave, from my page maybe yesterday. It's from a movie. I forget what movie, but it's a Christmas tree, and at the top is the North Star, and then at the bottom you've got that's supposed to be the Rufus Nigra, is what I'm guessing. This
and it says south around.
Yes.
Big.
Yes.
That's from a movie.
Yes.
That's from a some movie.
It's a kids movie or something.
It's a kids movie, but here's the thing. It's awesome, flat Earth. That's what we think right away. But it would be true on a globe anyway. If you went to the North Pole on a globe, south would be direction away from it. So if you put a tree at the North Pole, south would be in every direction. So yes, but it gets people thinking because people don't think like that. Like you ask a glober that's never looked and never heard about flat Earth, and say, if you're at the North Pole and people have two people have their backs to the pole and they're both facing in opposite directions, what direction are they facing? They rarely ever say south.
Yeah.
Like, well, one's facing east, and well, you know, they can't figure it out.
But see, that's the confusion factor. They give you the north, south, east, west thing, but it doesn't exist
Yes.
like that.
Point. Ready? I'm Kreskin. Ready? My eyes are closed. Point in any direction you want. Any direction parallel to the floor. Are you pointing?
Yep.
All right, you're pointing south. I win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I win.
How does a compass work on a globe?
It doesn't. How come compasses in the south don't point to the South Pole? How come compasses on the equator aren't confused? The compasses on the equator shouldn't know which way to go, right? But compasses work on the equator. They don't work in Antarctica because it's so far away from the Rufus Nigra that it can't find a signal.
Have you seen the different shapes of the rainbow the further north and the further south you go?
Oh yes.
They're more of an arch the north, and they're more like this the further south you go.
Right. I have on the
I just
FAQ
saw that
page,
the other day.
on the FAQ page. There's I added a rainbow section. There's a whole bunch of videos on rainbows, but here is what you're talking about right there.
Yes.
Right. Look at that. So this is in the north, this is in the middle area, right? Or Australia, and this is in Antarctica.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Now the thing is, if you go further, is it actually flat?
I think you hit your head on the ceiling if you go any further. Did you see, before getting back to the beginning, we were talking about my lunch break. Did you see, was it him or John? No, it was John Levy. John Levy showed one of the blocks on a megalithic structure. I think it was one of the pyramids. The side of the block broke off, and there was bricks inside.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I did not see.
Now, some people say, oh, it was damaged and they fixed it up with bricks. Cool story. If I was a normie, I'd believe that. But there's bricks inside, you know? And is it that there was some sort of event that, you know, that the bricks turn into stone? Or was it covered in stone? Did God build this world out of bricks? I don't know. Right?
It's wild.
It's wild stuff. Check out John Levy, everybody. Whatever the date of this recording is, go back 1 or 2 John Levy videos, and it is good. And John Levy is also in the app on the Tartaria Old World page, which is the Griffin. Oops, not there. And check it out.
Does radar even have a chance at working on a globe? Is there even a possibility that it works on a globe?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it could in short distances, but you know, with sonar. A submarine sitting on the bottom of the abyssal plain can see another submarine over 100 miles away. That means the sonar would have to go climb a mountain over a mile high, go over the mountain, hit the other submarine, bounce back, go over the mountain, come back, right? No, it would hit the mountain and come back. They'd say, oh, there's a mountain in front of us. There's current, right? It doesn't work that way. But it does, because it's flat.
And the railgun kind of shows that too. I thought I saw that a while back, but that thing, That's over 100 miles it'll fire that, won't it? And
Yeah.
it'll target it over.
I think it's 125 miles or something like that.
Yeah, but and that's a bullet, guys. That's not a rocket that they can, manipulate.
Have you seen this proof? So I was on a flight the other day, and the pilot said, we're going to start descending in 20 minutes. We're about 500 miles from the airport. And I calculated the speed. I said, they're going to start descending at 125 miles from the airport. And so the pilot has to calculate, hey, how many feet per minute do I need to drop to get to the runway? That's what they have to do. That's part of their job, right? So at 125 miles, the pilot calculates X number of feet per minute and gets to the runway, no problem. Problem is, it's a flat Earth calculation. If the Earth was a globe, they'd be 2 miles too high when they got there. Right? They'd be 2 miles too high. They're not calculating in any curvature. They don't calculate in any, all the pilot manuals say that, consider the Earth a flat, non-rotating plane.
Yeah. These things are, now they've got 10-minute, 20-minute videos of nothing but pilots all over the Earth. These are people speaking with accents in different languages. Again, American, all of them saying, not only do they not adjust for curvature, it's flat, and they raise their nose up to avoid turbulence. So that makes flight over a ball impossible.
This one right here, all pilots and scientists in on it, and there's tons of testimonies in there. Pilots, astronauts, scientists, the whistleblowers around. People are, someone would whistleblow. Somebody would tell the truth. They are. You just aren't being shown it. You just aren't being shown it. So, all right, time to wrap it up, Eric.
Yeah, you just did the submarines thing, didn't you? That was part of it too. The submarines.
Wait, in submarines, when they're going through the water, they have their wings that steer them up and down, and they're flying level through the water. Wouldn't they just pop out of the water at some point? Right? Is the water curved? Right? Don't tell me gravity's holding onto them and making them curve down, because if they were going, over the ball and they started getting higher and higher and higher, it not only pop out of the surface, but the higher you get, not that it's a lot, the less gravity there is. So what's pulling the submarine to keep it at that same level? Right? Now, the sky, they say, it's air pressure. The airplanes are following a pressure gradient. And the water, they're flying through water. Is the water curved? They're flying through the water. They would just pop out. But instead, they follow that curve of the Earth for some reason.
Yeah, the thing that blows my mind, I know we got to go, but one last thing I wanted to say, and I'll stop. But there's one. If the water is doing this, where's it curving? If the water's doing all this movement, where's it actually curving then?
Well, when it's at rest, it's curved water, You've gone skating on a lake, you can feel that curve a little bit,
Same with the Earth. If the Earth is doing this, mountains and hills, where's it curving? Where's it doing that perfect curve that it has to do the ball,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing me on, Dave.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been fun, man.
Thanks for having me on. This is my fourth interview today. Another fourth and final shout out to Mark Zulu One, who last night, while live streaming, had a heart attack and passed away, doing what he loves. The boy is an amazing person, friend, father, and he is going to be greatly missed. But I know that he is in a very good place now. It's just us that are going to miss him, and he gets a better view of this crazy shit show that we're in.
Absolutely, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Thanks so much, brother.
Hey, thank you, David.
All right. Ciao.